Going to Ina over here. Ina, you said there's no such thing as 50-50 where you come from, not even a question.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, I just feel like if a guy wants to go 50-50, he just wants to be friends. And over in that part of the world, men literally buy their potential spouses cars and flowers and do all the things before they get married. So they choose their mate based on who kind of more monetarily brings them.
Well, you're from Ukraine, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and was that your experience, your personal experience in Ukraine?
No, I mean, I came here as a kid. I was like 5,
okay.
I grew up in America. But just knowing like women over there.
But is your standard, are you holding men to this, in the U.S., to this Ukrainian standard?
I mean, I've never been asked to pay for a date. I actually had a guy kind of mock me in a way. He's like, "Oh, you want to pay?" And I was like, "I mean, okay." And he's like, "No," like got like really offended about it. Like, I'm not gonna ask you to pay. He was just making fun of it.
You object to the 50-50, right?
Yeah.
Just going around the table really quick on this. Are you fine with 50-50, or you prefer a guy to be more provider, pay for first dates,
like
pay for
paying
dates?
on a date?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down with 50-50. Sure.
You're fine with 50-50?
Yeah.
On a date, yeah.
Completely okay, yeah.
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 50-50, yeah.
I think it should be 50-50 because you don't know each other a lot when you're first dating.
So you seem to be a bit an outlier here, Ina. So you are very strongly against 50-50. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the point of provide and protect. Men should be able to kind of demonstrate that they can provide and protect before you go any further.
I was just curious, though, because I noticed when we were talking about the clergy thing, you seem to have a very strong negative reaction to this, what I assume to be your view of this sort of sexist standard against women being able to participate in the clergy under the Christian worldview. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, how I was raised, like my parents' church, there would never be women leaders. And I know people have left who grew up in the United States like me because they did not feel that it was correct that they couldn't lead.
Good.
Wait,
did they go to
hold
better
on.
churches?
I'm sorry?
Did they go to better churches?
No, I'm saying like the women left because they couldn't lead. Like,
and you think it was wrong?
Oh, great.
And you think it was wrong that the women were not able to participate in the clergy?
This is a hard one for me.
Okay, do you view it as sexist?
I think it's a hard one for me. I still think men should lead.
But you seem to have...
And in life and in general.
Okay, I was just a little confused because you, on one hand, you have seems like you have an objection or criticism of the whole, you seem to have been upset by Andrew's assertion that women can't be clergy.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't necessarily. The way that I was raised, they cannot be clergy.
But do you take a quarrel with that? Do you feel it is unjust?
I don't really know how I feel about that, honestly.
Do you think Jesus was a feminist?
No.
Are
like
you
I
sure?
said, I think.
Do you think he would that he was like Buddy Christ, just like in Dogma, where he was like, and he would do that, and he would be here for the selfies and feminism now? Or do you think that Christianity has always been run under a patriarchy, and it has been since Jesus Christ's apostles ran his church, and it was under a patriarchy? Like, which one do you think?
I mean, I do agree that men should lead women. That's all I'm going to really say about that, whether it comes to church
I seem to remember that you had an objection to the... I'm afraid you're attempting to walk it back now because you know exactly what I'm leading you towards. You have an objection of this standard of, well, women should be able to be clergy, yet you have, which you view as sexist, but your view that men should be providers and should pay for first dates is a sexist view. You're holding men to a gender expectation.
I mean, like, what are you saying that I was against what he said? Because I was kind of agreeing with what he was saying, that women shouldn't be leaders. That's how I was raised. My personal feelings about it, it's hard in this type of world, but that's how I was raised, is men should be the ones leading the church.
Well, perhaps I'm misremembering, but it seemed like you did have an objection to the whole women can't be clergy thing under Christianity.
No, I was agreeing with him more so. Like, I think I was nodding my head to something.
Are you pro-choice?
Pro-choice? No, I'm pro-life.
Yeah, pro-abortion?
No, I'm pro-life.
No, and did that come from your parents too?
No, I don't believe you should kill children, even if they're like, even if it's for incest or anything. I think the only time it's okay to kill is when the mom's life is at risk.
2 times.
Yeah, was that part of your upbringing?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So it sounds like your parents had at least a good foothold on what Christianity is supposed to be, right?
Yeah, well, my
Which is a
dad almost
patriarch.
died in the Soviet Union because he refused to use a gun and shoot people at that time. So the Soviets put him in a coma for like 2 months.
Was he an Eastern Orthodox? Many of them did that.
I'm not sure. I think so.
No. Well, if he was in the Soviet Union, he may not have been, but that's a pretty common there. So, yeah, I was just curious.
I do want to bring it back to, I think we went around the table on this. Were we talking, did everyone give their answers to if you consider yourself a feminist? Really quick, just a reminder, show of hands, who here is a feminist? Show of hands, raise them high. Okay, all right. So I just want to kind of get a better sense of that one. So those of you who said you're a feminist, do you believe that there is a patriarchy? Starting with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Okay, can you guys just tell me what the patriarchy is?
Am I? Sorry.
Yeah, just, I'll always start over here.
Oh, okay. Hierarchy of people and the order of how, people in power are and who is looked at as someone who can have power and who cannot, or who should not be given power. Does that make sense? I didn't explain that very well, but...
Sure, okay, what about you?
I think the word gets overused, but my definition would be that the patriarchy is a societal structure where men are dominant and women are subordinate to men in their gender roles and their expectations and the positions of power that they have access to.
Okay.
I think the patriarchy has been how the world kind of came to be, men and being in power, women always being, like, I won't use the words always, I feel like that's a very strong word, but women usually being not as powerful as men in social structures, the hierarchy of power in, like, every scenario in, like, the family and work, everywhere.
Yeah, basically everything they said. It's a hierarchy that puts men in power.
Okay, and so under this hierarchy, under this...
Jeremy donated $200. Back to the bear. You can reason with man. You can't reason with a bear. Enjoyed the bear. Do you think Brian and Andrew do this for a good reason? Don't you see the logic? Grid 1 Motorsports, my bro.
Thank you, Jeremy, man. Appreciate it. Good to see you in the chat, dude. You were a legend on Sunday show, so good to see you back. Really, very much appreciate your patronage. So under patriarchy, which it seems like you guys assert that it exists, it's a thing. Are women oppressed under the patriarchy? I'll start with you.
It really depends under which one. And
let's just say the U.S.
The U.S.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I think women have been, yes.
Are they currently?
Yes, in many situations, yes.
Okay. I'll get all your answers first. What about you?
In a lot of dimensions, yes, but I think that women in some dimensions do benefit from the patriarchy.
Yeah, I agree with everything they said.
Okay. So under the patriarchy then, if women are oppressed, are men the oppressors? Starting with you.
Not necessarily. It's both genders doing the oppressing when we're under the patriarchy.
Would it be a patriarchy then if it was...
Well, yeah, because women can still oppress other women under a patriarchy. Like,
So
for
if it
example,
was-
an anti-feminist with a feminist.
That would be oppression?
Yeah.
How would that be
Can
oppression?
I just make sure I get this right?
Like an
From your-
anti-feminist making anti-abortion laws, isn't that oppressing women?
How would that be oppressing women?
Wait, Andrew, ask your original question.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, though, it can't be equal between men and women if they're ruling over you and be a patriarchy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would still be women are being oppressed specifically by men.
Yes.
Okay. And an entailment of feminism, you would agree, is that it's women who need to dismantle the patriarchy.
Not necessarily. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but yeah.
Well, if you have an oppressor and they're men and you don't want men to oppress you, then you are trying to strive to get rid of men oppressing you, right?
Yeah, but I feel like the male gender could also help with dismantling the patriarchy.
Yeah, I mean, they could, but they would be then male feminists, right?
Yeah, which we have.
Yeah, so the entailment of feminism is to dismantle the patriarchy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Are men the oppressors?
Are men the oppressors? Is that the question?
Well, if women are oppressed, are the men the oppressors?
They are part of the oppressors, yes.
Okay.
Men are the people in power, so they're the ones that the oppressors, but like she said, women can also uphold that structure.
What about you?
Yeah.